very good afternoon to all our viewers. You have tuned into Market Fatafat on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me is Vinny Motiwala. And over the course of next 1 hour, we and our team of researchers and analysts will take you through all the stocks that are buzzing in trade today. So let's get started. But before that, let's have a look at what the markets are up to. So Vinny, no stopping there for the benchmark indices. Yet again, a record high level.
Absolutely, yet again a new record high level. Every day we see these new levels coming in. Look at the Nifty 50 as well, trading almost at the day's highest point as of now at 19,400, above those levels. 19,420 to be precise is what the Nifty 50 is trading at. Let's look at what the Sensex is doing as well. It was trading comfortably above the 65,000 levels and seems like it's continuing to stay above those levels comfortably. 16,600, that also trading at the day's highest point. Let's look at the Nifty mid-cap. That was something that was a bit subdued compared to the benchmark indices. Yes, as of now also almost flattish. Nothing exciting coming in on the Nifty mid-cap, but small cap space that continues to do quite well, up almost 0.5% in trade. Looking at the Nifty Bank, what is that doing this morning is something to watch out for. Seems like we were seeing a bit of a gain coming in there as well. As of now, trading at the day's highest point, up 0.9%, almost 1% in trade is the Nifty Bank for y'all. Other than that, let's look at some of the individual movers in terms of the names that we have for the stocks. And Medplus Health, that is trading with gains of more than 5% in trade, among the top gainers as well. We have Biocon, which is trading with gains of 10% today, almost 10%, which is the highest level at one point of time when you saw the stock. One point of time it was at the highest level saw the stock since April 2022. So Biocon has been one of those gainers in trade as well. Soam Distilleries, that was trading intraday at a record high level as well. As of now, what is it doing? It continues to be around those levels, at those record high levels for Soam Distilleries. La Opala shares trading at a record high as well. So keeping an eye on La Opala as well. Trading as of now, yes, below those record high levels, but still trading with gains of almost 4%. Angel One, Bank of Baroda, Canfin Homes, CMS Infosystems, Apar Industries, CLL Products, all these are trading at a 52-week high. So look at these stocks continue to trade at a 52-week high at those high levels. The market has surely picked up. We saw a bit of a fall coming in the markets, but then a recovery there, and all these stocks are among those gainers in trade today. But on that note, Shrishti, let's just start with all these stocks which are buzzing. And, if you want to know why are they buzzing, the next 1 hour is for you to listen to us and know what stocks are buzzing in trade. On the technicals, today we have Kunal Bothra with us, while from the research team, we have Vamakshi as well as Lisa joining in with us. A very good afternoon to all three of you all as well. And as always, I'll be starting with the first stock that is in focus, buzzing in trade, Asa DM, that's also trading at a 52-week high. And what is the main reason behind this, Shrishti, is that we have a note that has come in from HSBC where they're retaining a buy on Asa DM. They've given a target price of 330 rupees per share. So this is an increased target price. Previously, the target price was 264 rupees per share. Now, what HSBC is highlighting is that they believe that the stock is actually appearing and reflecting some possibilities of restructuring, which they believe could actually unlock value for Asa DM. Now, Asa shares price have already seen a run-up. Investors are now starting to factor in the probable sale of the GCC business and the general increase for valuation in terms of the healthcare sector overall as well. There's a strong revenue growth potential that is continuing for the business, as well as new hospital losses is to impact maybe the margins slightly. But other than that, expansion is what they're focusing on. Asa has actually focused on their facilities as well, increasing their hospitals as well from 300 in 2017 to over 885 in FY23. So that is something that we're keeping an eye out on. Asa DM is surely positive on the stock, and that is why look at the jump up today. 13% uptick. It's just started taking up and trading at the day's highest point as of now.
Okay, but continuing with the healthcare space, then let's shift focus to Biocon now and let's see what that stock is doing. The last time I checked, the stock was in red, but the news is actually positive because the company has finally launched their much-awaited adalimumab drug. That is the biosimilar of that is Vimta, and they have finally launched it in US. But the pricing is quite competitive, and they are actually matching the competitors' price as well, because back then Chorus Biosciences did launch it at an 85% discount to the branded drug, because all these biosimilars are available at a discount because they are the generic ones. So 85% discount is what the company has launched for their generic model. For their branded product, that's available at a 5% cost price to Humira, and that's what the company has announced. Definitely it was much anticipated, much awaited one, but the pricing is in line to what the street was expecting, because as per Nuvama, they are expecting a 5% contribution from this particular drug going ahead, but in FY25 estimates is what they're factoring in. $155 million could be the revenue coming in from this drug. So on the back of this news, the stock did open in the green, but while the market digests the news, the stock has come up in the red now.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on Biocon. Surely a positive news there for them, but the reaction is not as much as one was expecting, but not that much of a downtick there. Let's move on and talk about Chola Finance, Kunal, and what is the trajectory looking like for the stock? Today, the stock is trading with gains of almost 4%. But on the charts, do you see this run-up that we are seeing today, that is just the beginning of a run-up, or how do we look at the charts now?
Good afternoon, everyone. So, Chola Finance in the last 5 days has gained more than 10% from 1,060 to now on the verge of breaking about the 1,200 mark. The stock has done quite well in the last 4 to 5 trading sessions. Now, on the daily charts, the indicators have started to get into an overbought territory for Chola Finance, and I believe that with that kind of a signal, it's a prudent strategy to now either trail your stop losses to yesterday's low, which is around 1140 mark, or for traders who are who bought at lower levels. I think it could actually be a good time to try and book 50% profits over here, because my sense is that if the stock consolidates for even the next 1 or 2 weeks, there could be a chance of a retracement of at least 3 to 5% of this gain of 10% more in the last 5-6 days. So I would believe Chola Finance at levels, the strategy should be to try and at least trail the stop losses or book partial profits.
Okay, to the stock number 4, let's go to Lisa to understand why Bajaj Finance is the top gainer in Nifty 50 today. It has come up with Q1 updates, but Lisa, what's the big update coming in from the company?
Well, Bajaj Finance is up around 7% as we speak, but not only that, it also touched a 52-week high of around 7,920 per share, and this is following a positive quarterly update. So we look at the update is the Bajaj Finance, the AUM, that was the highest ever increase for the quarter, and it grew at around 32% year on year to 2,70,000 crore as of June 30th, and this is higher than the FY24 guidance that the company had given of around 28 to 29% growth. The new loans also saw robust year-on-year growth, and also sequential growth was high. The customer franchise addition, that was also quite healthy, and the deposit book that stood at approximately 49,000 crore, and it was up 46% on year-on-year basis. Even brokerages, they are quite upbeat on the stock, while CLSA says that it's the strongest AUM growth in the last 14 quarters. Morgan Stanley says that it's a preferred play in their NBFC rally, and it's a strong start to FY24 for Bajaj Finance. So on the back of this quarterly update, Bajaj Finance is in focus today.
Absolutely, a strong update that has surely come in from Bajaj Finance, and look at the buzz that is there in the stock as well. With that, Bajaj Finserv has also actually started seeing an uptick as well today in the stock. But let's move on, talk about another group, and two of the names there is IDFC and IDFC First Bank. Wamakshi, that's on the list at stock number 5. Obviously, we have that announcement coming in terms of merger, but can you talk us through more of the details over there, because we're seeing a bit of a fall coming in the stock price. So what is the valuation looking like, or what does it actually mean for the shareholders?
Well, yes, Vinny. Now, when you look at the merger, this is the second biggest merger post the HDFC as well as HDFC Bank merger. When we look at the announcement that came in, IDFC is expected to merge into IDFC First Bank. Now, this is a reverse merger, and the ratio has been announced. Now, IDFC shareholders are expected to receive nearly 155 equity shares of IDFC First Bank for every 100 shares of IDFC Limited. So now, when we look at the swap ratio, it seems to be in favor favor of IDFC. The merger completion is expected to take around 12 to 15 months, and in fact we have comments from the management, and the management actually says that the merger is expected to create value for IDFC Limited shareholders as well as provide direct shareholding in IDFC First Bank Limited. They also believe that it will augment the operational efficiency for the merged entity and create synergies for their shareholders. So largely that is the news flow surrounding IDFC as well as IDFC Bank, the swap ratio in favor of IDFC, and that is the reason why you're seeing an uptick coming as far as IDFC is concerned. That stock is trading nearly 2.6% higher, while IDFC First Bank is declining in trade, down nearly 3.5%.
Okay, on that note, obviously both these stocks we are keeping an eye out on, but also let's go across and listen in to the management of IDFC First Bank. We spoke to him as well in terms of the growth, what does this mean for the company. We spoke to V. Vaidyanathan, Managing Director and CEO. Listen in.
Now that corporate structure issues are all out of the way, the core of the bank will now begin to emerge even more to people. The short point is that bank has a really very good business model, very profitable, very high asset quality. Corporate governance is really top class. So I feel that everybody, like once in your channel, I said your non-believers will become believers about 3-4 quarters ago. Now you'll all watch and see what this bank will turn out to be. I think it'll be really good. Now onwards, let me just say it's more like settling down, because I think now we should look forward to a very stable build-up of the deposits, of the loan book, and let me just say all the adventures of 5 years of these 10 years are, let me say, behind us. And now let me just say it's more a stable performance and a stable lookout, let me say, over the next decade.
Okay, but moving on, let's shift focus to one another financial name, and there seems to be no stopping. I guess we're going to be talking about many financial names, and the next one we're going to be discussing is PNB. Kunal, what's happening here? Where do you think, what's the next stop for PNB? Because today itself, the stock is actually roaring in trade today.
Well, yeah, I think it's been an excellent performance for PNB. We highlighted the stock yesterday as well. And I mentioned, a positional target of closer to 62 for PNB. The stock has come back towards 57.5, 58, up 6.5 or 7% the last I had seen for the stock price. I think it's been an excellent day for many of these PSU banking stocks. So what it ideally tells is that the markets are getting into a zone where the mid-cap end or the tier 2 stocks in terms of the beta nature are the ones which are rising, showing a lot of confidence for themselves. There's a lot of backing for these stocks, not just in terms of the price boom, but in terms of volumes, both in cash as well as in the F&O positioning. I think that's the key highlight for many of these PSU banking names. The reason for highlighting PNB was that the stock had confirmed a breakout of a triangular pattern. It's a major triangular pattern, almost a 6 to 7 months of consolidation gets over for PNB after such a kind of a chart pattern. So all in all, looks very attractive. Would reaffirm the targets of 62, which I had highlighted earlier for the stock.
Reaffirm target for 62 for the stock. Surely keeping an eye on this one today, surely buzzing in trade. Let's move on and talk about Raymond. Why is Raymond in focus today? We had a note that came in from InCred. They've initiated a coverage on Raymond and given an ad rating with a target price of 2,200 rupees per share. What they believe is that this company has actually made a lot of successive moves undertaken to drive the group to become debt-free status, and the promoters are increasing their stake in RCCL as well, which in turn displays high confidence. And obviously, let's not forget the expansion of Ethnics, which is a front runner in terms of the brands for the apparel division of the company. Also, the realty business, the division over there is inching up, becoming a key pillar for the group as well in terms of growth. So they're quite positive, given that these are the key drivers that could work out well for Raymond. So keeping an eye on Raymond today, trading with gains of almost 1.2% risk-free.
Okay, moving on, and let's focus to the auto space now. A lot of action over there, because at one hand you will see Hero MotoCorp up around 2.5%, but Motors taking a nosedive of more than 5%. Karan, the big news is that Eicher Motors is at a threat of market share, and that's the reality, because Hero MotoCorp and Bajaj Auto have come up with big plans to expand in the premium motorcycle segment, because Eicher Motors is the lion in this category till date, holding more than 90% market share in above 250cc segment, but now Hero MotoCorp along with Harley Davidson have launched their first ever co-developed premium motorcycle bike in India at a very attractive price, that is 2.29 lakhs to 2.69 lakhs, where they are targeting to expand their dealerships in over 1,000 dealerships, and going ahead by March they are planning to get 100 premium dealerships in that, and that's definitely a threat because not just Hero MotoCorp but Bajaj Auto have announced their Trime partnership, unveiled their first ever product. 5th July is where you will see and get to see the prices. So on the back of this news, see Hero MotoCorp is up around 3%, but Eicher Motors now down 6%.
Absolutely. Keeping an eye out on the two-wheeler space then. Let's move on and also listen in to what Prateek Agarwal, Executive Director, Business and Investment Strategy at Motilal Oswal Asset Management, had to say on the two-wheeler market. Does he believe it's saturated in terms of premiumization? What are his thoughts? Let's go across and listen in.
I see two-wheeler market as having saturated. Most families in India have a vehicle, so the play is either that you premiumize, okay, or the winner or net value creator would be a new entrant in the EV space. Somebody who is doing very well on the ICE side will just replace if you move to the EV side. You don't add value. Okay, and that is an issue that I see in the two-wheeler space. In my mind, it's a net zero kind of a situation for most of the larger guys. For guys who are capable, have a good platform, good R&D facility, but for some reason did not succeed as much in the ICE space, have this disruption to back them up to gain market share in the EV space. We see that happening both in the two-wheelers and in the passenger vehicle space. Really don't see the guys who are super large in the ICE space adding much value, especially if the valuations are today peakish.
Okay, well, let's move on to the next stock in focus. And Kunal, coming to you for the next one, you have picked up BEL. This particular counter is also seeing good uptick in the recent past. What's your sense going ahead? What kind of targets should one be looking at?
We've many a times highlighted that the defense space generally gets categorized with two formidable players, BEL and HAL, which have shown good recovery, price trends, consistency, etc. for themselves. But what has actually happened in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks for BEL is a formation of double top. Now the stock in the last 1 or 2 weeks, 125 to 127 has been a zone of major resistance. The stock has taken 7 attempts towards breaking past about the 125-127 band, but it's failed to cross over the level significantly, and whenever it tries to enter into that zone, there is definite amount of supply or resistance or some selling pressure which emerges at those levels. So this generally indicates that the stock is forming a multiple top at the zone of 125 to 127. Now keeping that as a trailing stop loss, I would expect the stock to head lower and at least retest the previous swing lows. Now major support for BEL is at 115 to 110 mark, and possibly in this leg of correction, the stock can test both of those zones.
Okay, keeping an eye out on those levels for BEL. But let's move on. Stock number 10 and Lisa HMA Agro, the newly listed company. How is it looking like?
Well, they had a positive debut on the bourses. The company was listed at 625 on NSE and at around 615 on BSE, and this was at a 7% premium to their issue price. The company had fixed a price band of around 550 to 585 on the shares. And talking about the subscription, it was fully subscribed, though they received muted response from the retail investors. But most of the heavy lifting that came in from the non-institutional investors as well as the QIVs. This is a 480 crore IPO, and if we bifurcate this into the offer for sale, it's at around 330 crore, while the fresh issue comprises at around 150 crore. Now a little bit about the company. The company is one of the top 3 market leaders in terms of export of meat products, and they are also diversifying into basmati rice and other frozen food as well. This company is heavily dependent on export. Around 90% of the revenue that comes from their exports. So we can see the stock is up at around 4.8% as we speak.
Well, yes, a good day for HMA Agro. But moving on and shifting focus to Radico Khaitan, Vamakshi, why the stock is soaring in trade today?
Well, Srishti, a good day for Radico Khaitan as well. The stock is in fact buzzing in trade after the company launched a new product. It has unveiled Happiness in a Bottle, a happily crafted gin. Now this in turn is the latest addition that the company has made to its super premium product portfolio. This collection features 3 variants: Joy of Juniper, Joy of Pink and Joy of Citrus. Now, this in turn reinforces the company's leading market position as far as the craft gin space is concerned with Jaisalmer Indian Craft Gin. Now, this gin will be available in select retail outlets in Rajasthan, Delhi, Haryana, Goa as well as Karnataka in the first phase of launch. The SKUs will be 180 ml as well as 750 ml and the prices for which will be 500 to 550 and 2000 to 2200 respectively. So largely, Radico Khaitan is in focus on the back of that product launch that came in, and that is the reason why the stock is buzzing in trade today. Definitely, it is trading near the day's highest point, up nearly 5.5% as we speak.
Absolutely. Seems like the unveiling of the new gin collection is bringing a lot of happiness to Radico Khaitan shareholders, at least as of now. But let's move on and talk about JSPL. And Kunal, when you look at it in the last 1 week, last 1 month, when you look at it, sort of your traction that you're seeing that has been picked up. In the last 6 months, 2% return as of now. But going forward on the charts, what should we expect?
So on the charts, the stock is confirming a breakout. It's a swing breakout for JSPL. The stock in the last, as you were rightly pointing out, over the last 3 to 4 weeks has rather failed to close above the 600 levels convincingly. There have been multiple attempts intraday, but those attempts have failed. This time around, it looks like the stock would finally break past about the 600 mark on closing basis. So this could probably be an indication that the stock is going into a swing breakout mode. The previous dip down support for JSPL was around 570, 560 mark, which means even if we try and add the same drop of 40-50 points for JSPL, we could be looking at a conservative target of 640 for the stock in the near term. So 600 on closing basis remains to be a key mark. If the stock closes above this level today, then we can expect the stock to rally towards at least 640 to 650 over the very near term.
Okay, that's JSPL for y'all. But let's move on, talk about Vmart. We have a operational update that is coming from Vmart on its Q1 numbers. When you look at it with what the street was expecting, it's slightly below what they were expected. Now, let me just take you out to the upgrade. The store revenue, yes, that seems like it's on the recovery. Lime Road is surely seeing a sequential improvement as well. But Vmart's revenue, that's at around 661 crores, which is grown on a steady 12% on a year-on-year basis and 13.5% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Most likely that's going to be led by the gradual recovery that they've seen in the key markets. Lime Road, the net merchandise value, the NMV, that saw a growth of 42%. So Lime Road is quite well, doing quite well for the company. And in terms of overall, Lime Road is actually, the commission income from Lime Road is at around 17 crore rupees. So keeping an eye out on that, the revenues reported by Offline Plus Lime Road is at 678, which is a growth of around 14%. Store counts, 9 stores is what they've added. 8 of the stores were for Vmart, while Unlimited added 1 store as well. So yes, a bit subdued in terms of performance coming in what the street was expecting. Stock is trading with gains of around 0.3% in trade history.
Okay, let's shift focus to Tube Investments now, because the Tube Investment has announced that they have forayed into the electric small commercial vehicle segment, and they have plans to invest around 406 crores in 2 acquisitions where company's unit, that is TI Clean Mobility, has signed an agreement with JMN Automotives, that is a promoter. Anand Jayachandran will foray into the electric small commercial vehicle business. TI Clean Mobility will invest 160 crores and Anand Jayachandran will invest 40 crores in the form of equity in a subsidiary under the former, and it is also linked the pact to acquire a 50% stake in JM Automotives, and the acquisition will be done through a combination of equity buyout from promoters and subscription to fresh equity shares aggregating to 206 crores. And TI Clean Mobility will buy the equity shares from promoters, that is Mr. Anand and Mr. B. Jayachandran, and that's the update coming in on Tube Investments. On the back of this news flow, the stock did start the day in green, but now drifting lower.
Absolutely. Let's move on and talk SBI then, and SBI is in focus on the back of its charts. Kunal, how are you looking at SBI, the largest PSU bank, in terms of the stock move when you look at it? Not exciting in terms of the last 6 months when you look at the returns, but going forward, what should we expect?
Yeah, it's taking its own time to try and come back towards the previous size of 620 for SBI. But the recovery in the last 4 or 5 days, as I was mentioning earlier for PNB, that the PSU banking stocks are showing signs of strength. There is a definite amount of volume catching up this move for the PSU banking stocks, and same which we can spot for SBI. But the only concern with the stock is that it's heading towards a major resistance of 600. So 600 was the point in the month of I think April or May, where the stock took resistance, fell down almost 10% back towards 550 mark, and from there it's going to retest the mark of 600. So as many of the other mid-cap PSU banking stocks, they have given a breakout. SBI is yet to confirm a breakout of the 600 levels. So ideally, as a breakout trader, one should wait out for the stock to now cross the levels of 600 to initiate a fresh buy, because the risk reward at current levels may be a bit skewed. So only about 600 levels, I believe SBI could open up further legs on the upside for a potential target of 620 to 640.
Okay, so wait 100 for that 600 mark if you're a trader, because right now the risk reward is a bit skewed. That's the word coming in from Kunal. So wait for the 600, and then we could see a 620 level coming in for SBI. But we have Kotak Institutional that has also come out with a note on SBI. They've maintained a buy rating on this one, and they've given a target price of 725, which has remained unchanged from what they'd previously given as well. They're valuing the stock at around currently 1.3 times that of its book, 9 times that of its FY25 EPS as well, and the return on equities is in the range of 15%. What they believe is the bank has re-rated closer to the book value currently, but they do see the likelihood to deliver superior return on equity in the near term, and it's still high, and what they believe, which implies that the current multiple is still a bit expensive, and they would look at the unlikely scenario that of a multiple re-rating that could actually come in from SBI. So they do believe that the high return on equities would still make a strong compounder for SBI. So yes, they're maintaining their buy, and obviously kept their target price unchanged at 725. Today the stock is trading with just gains of almost 1%.
Okay, but with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more stocks that are in focus, but on the other side of the break, so stay tuned.